kind of SOP, so it's not like something we have to build out a wait list for, but we are pretty selective. I'd say we're more selective now than before, just like what niches we work with, just to make sure they're all like very solid ones that have grown on social before. So like personal trainers, dog trainers, or just like any niche that has kind of case studies or social proof that we've already done, or just like on social media already.
It's just fascinating. I just don't understand how you can scale to that many people and maintain quality. But it's obvious that you have, because these people stay on recurring revenue. Like, how many employees do you have?
A lot. So we have a mix of 1099 contractors and W-2. So it's over 100 right now. Yeah. So it's a lot of people.
100 people. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then when you first started the business, were you like, how many employees did you have before that video took off? Like, were you kind of scrambling to just fulfill as many people as possible?
I would say we had like 30, but we were like pretty comfortable then. But then once that video came out, we had to hire really quickly. But I will say with any agency, like you have to learn to keep quality up at that scale. Like it's definitely been a learning curve and I've definitely made mistakes, but I've learned so much, and I have obviously so many SOPs now, so many managers in place, just so many, I guess, points to check quality. But yeah, a lot of quality control has been implemented, and a lot of just extra positions just to make sure it stays the same, because it can get bad really quick if you're not careful.
Yeah, it seems like you're more focused on maintaining the clients that you have than trying to get new ones.
Yes.
Is that the case?
Yes. Yeah, for sure now that's where I'm at. Just trying to retain them as best as possible, get them the best results. Obviously I want to grow, of course, but you've got to care more about the clients you have than the clients you can get.
Okay, so Ava, you just turned 20, what was it, 2 months ago? 3 months ago?
March, like end of March, so 2-3 months.
How much money did you make last month?
I want to say 700K.
Sorry, it just throws me off every time people like say these numbers. You made $700,000 last month, and then are your expenses high for your business?
I want to say they're a little bit under 50% of revenue. So, yeah, I mean that's pretty average for an agency.
Yeah, so you're making $700,000 a month at 20 years old, which is ridiculous. When did this kind of journey start for you? I'd love to just kind of know, like, what were you like in high school? What were you like in middle school? Have you always been a scrappy entrepreneur? Like, how did you find success at a young age?
Yeah, I'm so different from when I was 14. But originally, like, going into high school, all I kind of cared about was, like, my friends. I had straight A's, like, I was a good student. I wanted to be successul, but I didn't really think about being a business owner for when I was that age. But then, I don't remember, or actually I do. So my social studies teacher, when I was 15, he started talking about Andrew Carnegie, and like him just being scrappy and starting his own company and being so successful after being like growing up so poor. He like it just was so inspirational. So I just searched up on Google like how to be successful or something stupid, and like the best books to read to be successful. And then that's when Rich Dad Poor Dad popped up. So then I was 15. I had my license. So I made my sister drive me to Target after school, and I got that book. And then when we got home, my dad was home, which was super weird. But he had like a mask on, and we were like, crap. And he had COVID. So this was like right when the pandemic was starting. But we had a quarantine for a week, so I was off of school. And I read that book probably like 2 days in. And I was dating my boyfriend at the time. It was my friend Ben. And I made him read it right away. And then we were like, oh my God, like why wait until we're 18? Why don't we just start a real estate investing company now? So we did. Which was so hard to do when we were teenagers, but we basically direct mailed, we cold called every day after school, because we went the off-market route trying to find properties to do like long-term rental investments. And eventually, after 3 months of doing that every single day, we finally got someone to say yes. And we got a duplex in, it's like right outside Milwaukee. And that was our first investment. And then we kind of did that all throughout high school, where we got short-term rentals and long-term rentals. But it was, I always say this, but like real estate's pretty miserable because like you're talking to people on the phone, you're trying to get them to like sell you their house, and they like hate you obviously. Like you get called a vulture, you get screamed at, and like it's just not fun. But after high school, so I graduated after my junior year. I just went full-time into real estate, and I started posting the short-form content on social media about it, and just being young in business, and like as a teenager in real estate. And like within the first month, I got like 50,000 followers just from posting short-form content. And then I just realized it was so much better than real estate, and I was like, wow, I could probably do this for other business owners. Because building your personal brand back in 2022 when I graduated, that's when it's like really started taking off and became like the term personal brand. So I started doing that for other people, and just cold outreaching with like my Instagram account, just to business owners I saw online. And I got a few clients, and I kind of started off just like editing for them, just the shorts. But then that eventually turned into me starting my business Instagram, then building out the full done for you offer, and that's like the only service I have now, just dialed in on making that perfect. But that is kind of how that all happened.
Got it. So let me back up a bit on the real estate. Where did you get the capital to kind of invest in these properties?
So Ben, I forget where he just, I think it was just YouTube, like Ryan Pineda on YouTube, if you're familiar with Ryan. He posted a video about couch flipping, where it's basically you find a couch on Facebook Marketplace for pretty cheap. You buy it, you clean it up, you just take better pictures, and then you put it back out. And we were making like $300 to $500 just flipping couches on Facebook an hour, I would say. $300 to $500 an hour. But the only problem with that is like you have to wait for the couches to come on. But we did that the entire summer, so we got like a good chunk of cash that we were able to use, because properties outside of Milwaukee, they're not like a lot. They're not what people are used to. They're anywhere from like 100 to 200K. So you don't need a huge down payment, but in order to buy it, you have to like co-sign if you're our age, because you're under 18. But there's like different ways to get creative, co-signing or getting an LLC in like your parents' or guardian's name, and then eventually getting that when you're 18. So.
And were your parents involved in real estate, like investments?
No, they are not. Like, I mean, they have a house, but not for investing.
Got it. Do you mind me asking, like, what line of business are they in?
Yeah, so my mom was a teacher, and then my dad, he W-2 up until I was 10, and then he started his own company. It's pretty boring, but it makes money, so it's basically, he makes phase converters, which is like, if you have a frozen yogurt shop, and you want to plug your big frozen yogurt machines in like an outlet, it won't work because it needs so much power. You can't just plug it in a regular outlet. So you get a phase converter to get more power, and then you can plug it in that and it will work. So that's basically what it is, but he makes like big electrical machines for like bigger businesses.
Yeah, and then your boyfriend, now husband Ben, you basically made a video when you were 14 saying that you were going to marry your current husband.
Yeah, so I remember when I first saw Ben in the hallway, I was like, wow, this is the most muscular dude I've ever seen. And we were like 14, so I was like, wow. So 2 weeks later, he was my boyfriend, of course. But yeah, we hit it off right away. I think Ben is like, it was just never awkward. We were friends right away, and he's like such a socially awkward guy, so it was weird that like he felt the same way. But yeah, Ben's my best friend.
And then what was the video you made?
Yes. So that was probably like a month into our relationship. I was just like, basically my mom recorded a video while my friends were over, and I was like, I'm gonna marry Benjamin William Otto. And we just had that play at our wedding.
This is me at 14 years old on December 8th on a Sunday in 2019, and I'm telling you, I'm a freshman member. And I'm telling you, right now, we're getting married to Ben Otto.
So that video that video was when I was 14, we got engaged at 16, and then married at 19. So we just played that video at our wedding. But I posted that on social media, and I think that was probably my most viral video. Because it got 50 million on Instagram, like 60 million on TikTok, and it got like in People magazine. We went on the news for it. But yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Interesting. Is that the video that kind of got you into social media, or did you post that just kind of randomly after you were making real estate?
So that video specifically was like me reacting to that video at my wedding. Reaction content does so well, especially in like real life situations like that. So I think that is why that went viral. And like I don't edit my videos, but we got our wedding footage back in October, and I was like, I know this is gonna work. So I just edited it and I posted it after like 10 minutes, and it did.
Was that the first viral piece of content you made, or had you gone viral before?
No, this is when my Instagram was already pretty built up. This was in like, let's say September, October. So pretty recent, but that was like probably my biggest video.
Okay, so to get into some of the virality related stuff, because you service 300, 400 people on going viral consistently, what would you say is the number one mistake people make when trying to go viral on social media?
Yeah, so people just like, sometimes I always like to say everyone thinks they're a great marketer, but they will just post videos that they come up with and kind of expect it to go viral. And then eventually when it doesn't, they'll just give up. But the thing with content is there are so many case studies out there of people in your niche that have already gone viral. And what you can do is you can just search up your niche in the Instagram Explore page, and you can click accounts, and you can find like the top 10 to 20 people in your account, or like in your niche. You go to their accounts, and you basically want to look for videos, like we call them outlier videos. That's basically videos that just get significantly amount, or how should I put this?
Like a higher amount of views than their average.
Yes. So like I do what's called the 5x rule. So I'm like, okay, if it gets 5x views in the account's followers, that's like a viral video in my mind. So we'll add all of those to a spreadsheet from their page, and then we will write out like the hooks. We'll write out how many views it got, the topic of the video, like the format it was filmed in. And we'll do that for like 10 to 20 videos for each creator, for those 10 to 20 creators. So you're getting a list of like a few hundred reels that are like the best performing in your niche. And then you just use the hooks and the topics from those videos in your own content, but make the value your expertise and like your actual actionable, valuable advice. And that is what works. And even still, like when you're starting a new account, you can do that, but the first little bit you just have to like push through and get through, because it's a slow growth, like when you are starting a new account. But if you stay consistent and you do that method, it will go a lot faster than just trying to post whatever you want to do.
And what have you learned about social media virality, like in the past few months that maybe you didn't realize a year ago, 2 years ago? Like what's been new, or is everything kind of been the same for a while?
I would say obviously content's always changing, but I would say probably the importance of like the three main hooks. So there's like visual hooks, so what you see in the first 3 seconds. There's written hooks, what you read in the first 3 seconds of a video. And then there's the verbal hook, so what someone says in the first 3 seconds. So using all 3 hooks and optimizing those. And then also, it's something we call formats. So like if you look at short form content, subconsciously you don't realize it when you're scrolling, but if you intentionally scroll, you'll see some people use like a whiteboard, called a whiteboard format, where they're like maybe revealing things under paper on a whiteboard. Or we have like talking back and forth format, where like 2 people might be dressed, or one person is dressed up as 2 different people, and they're like doing a little skit, talking back and forth. Or there's talking head, where you're just talking straight to the camera. Or there's audio B-roll, or there's like trending audio, and then there's text on the screen. But there's a ton of different formats, and what I love to do is if I ever get a viral video, I will just recreate it in different formats, and it usually does very well.
Which of those formats would you say is the most valuable? Like if you could only be really exceptional at one, when you wanted to use it to grow your business, what would you say is the most valuable?
I would say the people who can consistently go viral and have the best personal brands, like do talking form, because I would say like if you look at an audio B-roll video versus a talking form video, you always get more followers, more likes, more engagement, more leads through talking form videos, even if they get less views. But I would say anyone who can go viral just talking to the camera, that's like the best, because it's the least engaging. So if you can do well with it, that means like what you're saying is super valuable, and people don't need like all the ADHD things to like stay on your video.
Yeah, that's interesting. I see like this big emphasis on short form content, particularly among business owners, where they're like, oh, we need to have like the best edits, like and like the best graphics, etc. But does editing really go far in a video?
No, I would say like if I had to rank things, I would say it's the hook, then the script, then the format, and then probably the editing.
Interesting. Okay. And then of the hooks, you said visual hook, written hook, auditory hook.
I would say it used to be verbal, but now it's visual. Because, I mean, people always listen to things on mute. But now, like, if you're scrolling, there's so many people doing so many things, and, like, so many visual hooks, like, you have to have a good one, too, if you want to make people stop.
And what goes into a good visual hook? And, like, what really makes people stop scrolling on Instagram?
Yeah, so I would say there's a ton of different visual hooks, and, like, some people think, like, oh, I have to do something crazy, but you can literally, it can just be, like, you sitting down in a chair, like, just a motion. Or, like, what we do a lot for clients is, like, we're doing like a personal trainer. This is how my client went from 150 to 130 pounds in XYZ time, and like have actual like pictures of the clients before and after on the screen. So that could be a visual hook, or like a above angle, so it's like the camera's up here instead of just like right here. So it doesn't have to be that complicated, but we just usually, when we're scrolling, if we ever see a new one that follows a 5X rule, we'll just add it to our little sheet, but there's just a ton you can do.
And